If you're feeling a little overwhelmed or maybe even disappointed about where you thought you'd be by now, I want you to know that you're not alone. And more importantly, you're exactly where you need to be. Today, we're doing something a little different, okay? Think of this as your mid year mental health check in, your permission slip to start over, to adjust course, and honestly, to give yourself some much needed grace. We're going to explore three key areas together: addressing what's really going on for you right now, adjusting your approach with kindness, and applying some fresh strategies as we move forward. The old you is gone, and the new you is shining bright. Welcome to Adjusting. Welcome to Adjusting, a safe space for candid conversations about mental health and well being with your host, Justin G. Nelson. Whether you're recovering from trauma, redefining your purpose, managing mental health, or simply craving more authenticity, this show is for you. I hope something resonates with you and helps you on your own personal journey. So sit back, relax, and let's start adjusting. And we are back with another episode of Adjusting Podcast with your host, Justin G. Nelson. And this episode, my prayer and my hope for this episode is that you will take the flame away in order to light your own personal goals and ignite that journey you are hesitant to start. This whole episode is just about a mid-year check-in with your mental health and your goals. Like, I have always been a goal setter. I remember, I think I was in high school. I took one of those science fair boards and the trifold ones. I took one of those and I made a vision board from it. And it has always stayed with me. Even when I first moved to New York, I didn't have the space to make a legit vision board. So I made a vision wall. I was just like, we're going to think big, Beyonce. And then once I got my own apartment, I was like, let's really make this vision board luxury. So I printed it out. I went to Walgreens and I printed it out on a 24 by 36, put it in a frame, put it at the foot of my bed so that every time I wake up, that's the first thing I see. So this episode is just adjusting your goals. It's a mid-year check-in just to see how you are, to remind you that it is okay to restart, to reset, because this is your life and your goals. Things may have popped up. I'm jumping ahead. Sorry. Before we get too far, thank you to TJ Bolden for editing my podcast. Be sure to support and follow him and his platforms, Tea with TJ. Season 4 is coming very soon. Also, I am sharing some things. So, first and foremost, I'm getting back into performance a lot. Like, I had an amazing lunch with someone the other day, and I had a lunch with Kim, and I've talked to my coworker Mary Catherine and some other people, Ebony, Tariq. Everyone's just like, Justin, why don't you post yourself singing? And I shared with you all in season 1 that there was just a lot of trauma. There was a lot of judgment. There was a lot of shame that came with singing, and that ends today. So be sure to follow my performance page at Justin G. Nelson as I gear up to sing more and share more of that. It's never been a goal to be like a artist with an EP and a record and all those things, but I do love singing. Also, things are revving up with Type J Marketing after the expo and really seeing the future of social media. I'm really going to start posting more on YouTube there. There will not be another podcast about that. I'm just sharing some things from the personal side before we get to the mental health things. So follow that page at Type J Marketing. Earthy and Culture is about to start revving up too with the plant-based things. So be sure to follow that. And hopefully by October, we're giving ourselves to October, I will relaunch my men's fashion page, The Detailed Gentleman. Justin, you do a lot. I know. I do a lot, and I love what I do. With that in mind, be sure to subscribe to my Substack channel. I am going to post all the articles so that you all can read everything. I'm just going to post all of them. I'm not going to schedule them. I'm just going to post them. So you have a lot of reading to do. And then I will be working on the second installment to the adjusting affirmations. I don't know what the topic is going to be yet, but it might be just adjusting your goals and affirmations for goal setting. I think that's where the spirit is leading me. So be sure to check that on the YouTube channel. And yeah, so let's jump into today's episode as we start with our breathing. So I'm going to shift a little bit to more of a common breathing method. It's called the 4-7-8. So you breathe in for 4, you hold it for 7, and you let it out for 8. That is something we do in tantric yoga. That's also something they recommend when it comes to like anxiety and kind of decompressing things. Also, it is, I think, 90 something degrees in my apartment. So I'm just going to sweat this episode. I'm just going to let it happen. By the end of this episode, this shirt might be a dark gray, but just know that I showed up today. Great. So if you're driving, please focus on the road. Thank you. If you're not, if you're home and you can take a second to take this sacred breath with me, I invite you to relax your feet, your ankles, your shins, your thighs, your hips, your stomach, your chest. Relax your shoulders and your neck, your chin, your eyebrows, your forehead. Relax your ears. And we're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and let out for 8. You ready? Let's go. So breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let it all out. Let's do one more time. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How do you feel? Great. I hope that helped to reset your nervous system and to get you adjusted for today's episode. So again, today we are talking about adjusting your goals. This is a mid-year check-in before we start the month of July, and I want to just check in to see how you are doing. So here's the thing, and I need you to hear this, okay? Acknowledging where you're struggling is not bad. It's a sign that you're healing. Out the gate, don't settle in your struggle, okay? Struggle is like an indication that you still care about something and that you are trying to rid yourself of the things that's holding you back, okay? This is just part 1 and we're already coming out the gate. I see it all the time, especially with my creative friends and entrepreneurs. We get so caught up in the what I should be doing and comparing ourselves to other people. And it should be a moment of grace for yourself and a moment of gratitude to say, you know, while I should be doing this, I'm grateful that I'm still able to do this. I'm grateful that I'm still able to pay my bills. I'm grateful that I have food in my refrigerator. I'm grateful that I still have the activity of my limbs. Those are things we take for granted. Because I have horrible sciatica, and baby, when they flare up, I be like, Lord, I should have stretched, or I should have done this. And it's like those shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but let's just be grateful for the things that we have now. Let's talk about those common mid-year feelings. Maybe you're experiencing this overwhelm with the summer, just like I ain't get the summer body. I was playing too much in April around Easter and Mother's Day and May, and like I wasn't really focused on my fitness goals. But now it's quote unquote too late, so maybe next summer. And you're caught up in that comparison trap on social media, or you have anxiety because the goals you set back in January you didn't accomplish. but you're still alive and there's still an opportunity to meet those goals. Now, I can see if there was like a trip you wanted to do in June and you didn't have the money set up for June for this particular trip or a concert, that's different. Like, just take the L and just keep going. But for my creatives listening, can we talk about imposter syndrome for a second? Like, I touch on it. I've never done a full episode about imposter syndrome, but it's like it gets louder when we feel behind. It's like you're not doing enough, or people are doing more than you are, or maybe you should focus on something else. Like, who said that? Who asked you to pop up right now? That voice saying, who am I to do this work, or everyone else has it figured out? I want you to know that that voice or that imposter syndrome intensifies the comparison we do with others based off our behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. Like, we're comparing ourselves just from a post. Like, we don't really know what they went through to get there. And I say this a lot. Like, I said this, I think in last week's episode, we talk about how the grass is green, but the house is junky. Like, you can't compare yourselves to someone else's highlight reel, not knowing everything it took for them to get there. And then here's something important. There's a difference between productive stress and chronic anxiety. Productive stress motivates you, gives you energy, feels manageable. Chronic anxiety, it's that consistent knot in your stomach, the racing thoughts, the feeling you can't catch your breath. It's that crippling feeling where everything that you do just doesn't feel like enough. Like you're drowning in your day-to-day activities and that endless to-do list. It's like, I just scratched this off. Where did this other stuff come from? That's that chronic anxiety. But I want you to give yourself permission to feel disappointed. Give yourself permission to feel. Okay, it's completely normal to feel off track by mid-year. If you don't feel off track by mid-year, then you are living someone else's goals or living someone else's timeline. It is perfectly common. Not saying if you are on track, kudos to you. Like, you have everything figured out. You live a very quote unquote simple life. And to that, I say congratulations. But to the people who juggle multiple things, who don't have the luxury or don't want to work the standard 9 to 5, we don't have that luxury. Okay. We chose the life of a creative because that's where we're passionate. So some of us live paycheck to paycheck. Some of us don't know when the next gig is coming, but we know that we have the faith to continue to stay focused on the things that bring us joy. It's a sign that you're growing, when you're feeling off track, it's a sign that you're growing. When we set goals in January, we're setting them for who we were then, not who we're becoming. You got that? When we set goals in January, we're setting them for who we were then, not who we're becoming. Your mental health journey isn't a straight line. Your creative journey isn't either. Okay? For my singers, for my dancers, we learn this technique. And when you learn the technique in like January, you're good at it then, but if you keep working towards it and working on it, you're better than you were in January. Same with singers. If you are consistent with your voice lessons and your daily practices and stuff, you can do the things that you couldn't do in January in March. That's consistency, okay? And that's showing up for things you care about. But when it comes to mental health journey, who you were in January because of them boundaries you set, you're a whole different person in March, but people still compare you to the person you were in January. That's not your fault. Okay, things change. So your goals have to change based off who you've become. My God. Okay, that perfectionism, that's whispering you should be further along. It's not actually high standards. It's fear disguised as ambition, and it's keeping you stuck. So how are we going to address perfectionism moving forward in the rest of this year. And can we talk about the heavy stuff for a second? Maybe you set a weight loss goal. This is me. This is me talking to me, that felt so hopeful in January. It's like I had all this money coming in. I had all this time. I was just like, okay, perfect. I can do 5 times a week, 2 times a day. I can grocery shop, da 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 da. And then life was just like, you think you had all this money coming in. I was supposed to be working. I thought my contract for University of Memphis was supposed to start in January. So when I work as an adjunct professor, I get paid 4 times in that 3-month span. So for me, I was like, perfect. So I have this money coming in. This money will be set aside for groceries and bills, and I'll get caught up. Y'all, my contract didn't start till March. And then my other job, we lost a lot of shows, so everything was just like, You thought you should be in shape, yeah? Nah, bruh. So everything, all my goals and stuff got shifted, and so now I'm just like, well, let's reset, shall we? But back to the weight loss goals. And so now you're feeling like you failed, or those financial goals. Maybe you're nowhere near where you thought you'd be, and it's eating at you every day. That credit card debt, you're behind on bills. You're not able to really do the things you wanted to do this summer. No hot girl summer. I mean, it's hot. You might be a girl and it's summer, but you're not making the style yet. And it's fine. And then there's a shame spiral around these goals that can be extremely brutal. And if you are there right now, please listen closely. You might be saying, I let myself down again. I'll never change. Why can't I just stick to anything? That internal dialogue is taking a serious toll on your mental health and your nervous system. And you are creating this false language and narrative with yourself. Because remember, your words have power. Your words can shift your very being and your very moment right now. So I really want you to go listen to the affirmation videos and just remind yourself that this is temporary, or like the good psalmist says, it won't always be like this. The Lord will perfect that concerning me, because sooner or later it will turn in my favor. It is turning around for me. I will not be singing it when I go home. But let's get practical for a moment. I want you to think about your stress right now. What's within your control in this very moment, on this good old day, whatever day you listen to this, and what's coming from external pressures? Red flags that it's time to pivot. You're exhausted but can't sleep. Your creativity feels blocked. Your relationships feel strained. You're getting sick more often. That your immune system is compromised. Stress can compromise your immune system, and your body is trying to tell you something. So pay attention to where you're holding tension. A lot of us holding in our shoulders, in our hips, in our forehead, in your neck, okay? Your shoulders, your jaw, your stomach. All of these are messages. And get a massage, maybe. Drink some kombucha. Go for a walk. Unprocessed emotions show up in our bodies, and we can't think our way out of what we need to feel our way through. Okay? So if you need to pause and go stretch a little bit, do it. Okay? I invite you to explore where you're feeling stress. But if you're not pausing, we're moving on to part 2, which is adjusting, recalibrating with grace. All right, so we are entering into the next half of this year, and this can also be an episode you listen to if you do a 12-month year. There was something I tried to start, I didn't do, but it's basically just 12-week year, not a 12-month year. You do 12 weeks and you treat it as if a full year. Or if you look at things like I do from a brand management perspective, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So that's January to March, April to June, July to September, and October to December. So you can listen to this episode whenever. Just think of it as a check-in. So redefining success for your mental health. Here's what I want you to consider. Maybe your January goals don't serve your July self. And that's not failure. That's wisdom, that's growth, that's being human. That's a sign that you are evolving. Success isn't about sticking to a plan that no longer fits. Success is having the courage and wisdom to disappoint others in order to honor your mental health needs. That's setting a boundary and saying that, I need to recalibrate my goals and where I am in order to fit and fuel my future self. It's always about your future self. Always, because the present is gone in the blink of an eye. Okay, every second that passes, you are doing something for your future self. And I'm talking to my entrepreneurs and my parents out there. Your worth is not determined by your productivity. Again, your worth is not determined by your productivity. Okay. And the same goes for those weight loss goals and financial goals that are weighing heavy on your heart right now. Your worth isn't determined by the number on the scale or the money in your bank. That is diet culture, that is comparison. And let me tell you, this industry, this musical theater, Broadway industry will make it feel like you are not worthy. Okay? Because there's this fundraiser that happens every year called Broadway Bears. And it's basically people have naked on stage dancing to music to raise money for a cause. Cause is great, but you will never see, you will, of the probably 600 people on stage, you'll probably see 2 plus size men on stage, because Broadway really caters to the fit body, like giving muscle, 6-pack, that kind of vibe. And I felt for that when I first moved here. I had a trainer and I was just like, I have to be in shape. This is what Broadway wants. This is what the industry wants. I have to do that. And I was in shape. I had a 6-pack. I had all those things. COVID happened. Life changed. Okay. And while I do have goals to get back in shape, I'm doing it for me and my future self and not for an industry. Maybe the real success is recognizing that punishing yourself for not reaching arbitrary numbers is actually sabotaging your mental health. Maybe the real win is choosing self-compassion over self-criticism. So let's talk about the mindset shift, and the old you is gone. Okay, the past is gone. The past is gone. You can rewind this episode and listen to it again, but the feeling you got when you heard it the first time won't change. If you're listening to this episode and if you're doing the work on your mental health, if you're questioning and growing and healing, the old you is gone. And that's not something to mourn, that's something to celebrate. You're not the same person who set the goals in January. You've experienced things, you've learned things, you survived things that have changed you. Why would you hold yourself to old standards by someone you no longer are? Why would you hold yourself to old standards based on someone you no longer are? Great. I think that kind of goes to tradition. Ooh, I don't want to step on no toes, but for my churchy people, we hold ourselves to these traditions because they worked then, but I don't think all traditions serve us now. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say about that. This isn't about abandoning your dreams. It's about updating them to match where you are and who you have become. Your dreams get to evolve as you evolve. Your goals get to change as you change, okay? The standards get to shift as you shift. That is a part of growing and healing. And I don't think we give ourselves enough grace to do the things. We are afraid and we say we have let ourselves down, we have let others down. When actually you're letting yourself grow and you're picking yourself up. Okay, you are lifting yourself to a higher standard by evolving as your dreams and your goals and your standards evolve. And for the rest of this year, I want you to operate from this truth. I am not who I was 6 months ago, 3 months ago, 6 minutes ago, and that is my superpower. The old patterns, the old fears, the old limitations, you don't carry those forward. Starting today, starting right now. At the end of this episode, you say, the old me is gone. Hashtag, the old me is gone. Perfect. So let's get back to boundary setting as a form of self-care, not just going to get a manicure, facial, a massage, reading a good romance book. Like, let's set those boundaries as a form of self-care. I feel like we may get a little loose with the boundaries. We need to tighten it back up, like you're playing a piano and that string is a little flat. Let's tighten it back up before we move on. In the first half of the year, you've set those boundaries and you're just like, oh, well, we're all dealing with seasonal depression, or we're all dealing with financial things, or we're living through unprecedented times with this dude that's in office. So I'm going to give people boundaries because we're all stressed. Boundaries aren't walls, they're gates. Okay. They're not about keeping people out. They're about letting the right people and energy in. Got it? Where have your boundaries become too loose, too porous? Okay. Maybe you're saying yes when you mean to say no. Maybe you're checking them work emails again at 10 p.m. Okay. And responding to text message after business hours, even though you ask people not to text you after 4 o'clock unless it's an emergency, but they do it anyway. Or giving advice when you barely have energy for yourself. Are you pouring from an empty cup again? Let's fill yourself up. Let's fill yourself up today. The art of saying no without over explaining. You don't owe anybody a dissertation on why you're protecting your peace. If anyone, you owe your inner child. And say, well, why are we? Hey, listen, that didn't serve you, and you're the reason. And I am here to help us heal your inner child. So we don't have to explain shit to nobody. Your no is enough. Yep. Digital boundaries. When was the last time you did a social media audit? We talked about adjusting your platform, I think last season. And like, who are the people you following? Are they benefiting your mental health? Or are you comparing yourselves like, I should have went to the gym today because they're in shape. Baby, they're probably on steroids. Okay, we don't know the genetics. Okay, they could sneeze and get a 6-pack. Unfollow them. They're not helping you. Okay, some people are really just selling you digital products and digital hopes and dreams from something they created from AI. I know because I use AI. Now, I won't create a digital product to sell to you, but I know what prompt they put in to get that digital product. So do a digital audit. Unfollow some people. Block some folks. I'm a fan of blocking people. And for my couples out there, can you communicate the changing needs without feeling like rejection? I'm growing and I need to adjust some things. I'm not the same as I'm growing and I need to change some things. It's not the same as I don't love you anymore. And that speaks to the anxious attachment style and the avoidant attachment style. Like, are you working or doing the things that you need to do to slowly get to a more secure attachment style? I can say, and I'm going to be transparent, okay? Over the past 2 weeks, my anxious attachment style, and it could be because we're in Cancer season and this new moon has come, baby, I have been an emotional wreck, okay? There are friends that I'm just like, I don't hear from them as much. And part of me is just like, is it me? Am I the drama? But there comes a point where you just get tired of always reaching out first. And I don't think that's anxious attachment or anything. I think it's just a part of human. Like, I know we're all going through stuff, but if I make time to reach out to you and you leave me on red, you know what? I'm good, because your presence isn't serving me. It's not adding value. Okay. And I think this is going to sound very cocky. And this is something my therapist reminds me of whenever my anxious attachment style pops up. It's a luxury to have me in your life. Okay. It is a luxury to have me in your life, because there is not another Justin G. Nelson. There isn't. Go look for one. You won't find it. Okay. There's not another me. And what I bring to your life is value. So if you don't have the energy or the maturity to respond or meet me where I am, we're good. Booyah. So here is some signs it's time to reassess. You feel drained after spending time with certain people. Your growth makes others uncomfortable. And some people are probably just insecure. And there's a thing going around. I'm pushing on my fake glasses, that talks about how people benefit from your presence and what you have to value, and they know that they can suck like that light from you, and they can get the residuals of your blessings, but they offer nothing to you. Like, they just benefit from being in your presence. Let them people go. Like, stop making yourself so accessible to these people, because if someone else came along with a light brighter than yours, they are very likely to navigate to that person. You're outgrowing conversations that no longer serve you. And that is okay. Like, again, the old you is gone. Some conversations are trivial now. I ain't gonna go into details, but there are some people, they only want to talk about certain things. And I'm just like, yo, there is too much going on in this world to sit here and talk about this one thing over and over and over and over again. Like, ain't nothing changed. Like, at some point, I'm worried about you. And this is not judgment. This is sincere concern. Okay? You can create space for your own growth without burning bridges. My life's philosophy is I don't burn bridges, I just visit them less often. And trust me, there is another way to get to the destination without traveling that bridge. There is someone else that will get you over that hump other than the person you always rely on. Yeah, I don't burn bridges, I just visit them less often. Sometimes love looks like loving people from a distance. It's that gate, that boundary gate. Let them folks stay on the other side. Water your grass, okay? Forget that turf. It's fake. Your healing journey deserves to be surrounded by people who celebrate your progress, not people who need you to stay small so they can feel better about themselves. I'm ending the episode right there, damn it. Because listen, again, I have been in this mood. I'm just like, why? I'm gonna talk to the camera. Why do we feel the need to keep people in our life who don't celebrate us, who don't support us? Like, we really have to let go of this word friend. Like, you can have acquaintances, you can have people you know. It is fine. We don't have to label everyone as a friend. People should be honored to be your friend. They should support you. They should celebrate you. They should not wait until the big day to give you your flowers or to give you your praise. If people cannot support you along the journey and in the process, them ain't your people. Okay? Like, everyone can't make it to the stage. Some people got to sit in the audience. Some people got to clap you from a distance. And some of them ain't clap. Think about an award show. You have some people who are clapping because the camera is on them and they don't want to give off a jealous energy. They're like, they don't mean it. I would rather you look upset. There was something, I think I think it was my assistant principal in high school. And she would always say, clap. You never know who's watching, just clap. I don't care if you lost. I don't care if you feel disgusted, just clap. And I clap. But sometimes I'm saying like, I don't want to say that out loud because, the digital stuff lives on forever. But let's go back to embracing your imposter syndrome as growth, because I have gone off on a tangent. Can we reframe imposter syndrome for a second? What if it's not evidence that you don't belong, but evidence that you have outgrown your comfort zone? You feel better? Good, because I do too. Creatives and entrepreneurs, you're especially vulnerable to this because you're consistently putting yourself out there, creating something from nothing, and that take risk. It's like when I pivoted to branding and marketing and I didn't know basic terms. I didn't know what SEO was for the longest, search engine optimization. But now I can talk about it all day. And the more I work in this space, the more I'm just like, my rates got to go up. Hell, my rent's going up. My rates got to go up. So if you listen to this and you're a client, my rates are going up. You're going to email shortly to let you know my rates are going up. Because my worth has expanded beyond this bubble that I put my in. My value has expanded beyond this imposter syndrome bubble. And people know that your value has expanded. They know that your expertise has expanded. They know that the quality of work that you have created has expanded, but yet they keep you trapped in this one place because they know that you suffer from this identity crisis and they can continue to benefit and profit off who you were. So until you show up as a new self and the old you is gone, they will continue to pay you and treat you from a place of where you started. Damn. I knew this episode was going to be personal, but I didn't realize it was going to be that personal. So with all that in mind, instead of fighting imposter thoughts, what if we work with them? Thank you, brain, for trying to keep me safe, but I'm choosing to grow anyway. Thank you, heart, for trying to keep me in a place of love, but I am choosing to try even harder. Thank you, nervous system, for reminding me to check in with my gut, but I am going to keep pushing for the things I know I deserve, even if it makes me feel uncomfortable. So we've talked about addressing the goals and checking in with yourself. We talked about adjusting to these things, but now we're going to apply and move forward with intention. Okay. So starting over without starting from scratch. You can revisit those goals and just tweak them. Okay, let's modify some things here and there. Here's the beautiful thing about adjusting your goals. You're not starting from zero. You're building on everything you've already learned, everything you've already survived, everything you've already created. But here's the plot twist. You're also not the same person who started this journey. Okay, so you're met with a complex mind of like, okay, how do I shift my goals to where I am now based off what I know now? The version of you who began this year had different fears, different dreams, maybe different trauma responses. You've shed layers, you've grown, you lost some friends, you've healed, you made some changes, you said, fuck these folks. Why would you force yourself back into those goals that were designed for someone you've outgrown? Right. Pivoting isn't the same as giving up. Pivoting is honoring your growth and making intentional changes based on new information, including new information about yourself. New capacities. Remember that container? You've expanded that container, that plate, you've taken things off your plate, that garden, you've removed those volunteer plants. Like all those things go into your mental health journey when it comes to your goals, and you are now able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You are able to make sense of the things and the whys, why things happen, why you were put in this situation. Now you can really assess your goals from a new plate. Okay, you know how you go get leftover or you go get a second round of things because you know the things that are good that you want more of? Think of your goals like that. You're like, okay, so this was nasty. I don't want that. Or this goal was not really for me. It was for somebody else's. I don't want this on my plate anymore. So, but let's get some more of this. Let's make more room for this. Yeah. Look at your foundation. What's solid? What's worth keeping? What's ready to be released because it belonged to the old you? You don't have to demolish everything to make meaningful changes. Your new identity for the rest of this year. I'm not saying go get a facelift or some fillers or change your name or something, but like as we head into the next half of this year, I want you to carry this mindset with you. You are not trying to get back who you were. You are becoming who you're meant to be. Stop trying to fit into your old life, your old coping mechanisms, your old ways of thinking, your old tolerance for things that don't serve you. Those belong to the person you were before you started prioritizing your mental health. This new version of you might make different choices, set different boundaries, want different things. Trust the evolution. Again, the old you is gone. I want you to think about what lights you up right now, okay? Not what you thought would light you up 6 months ago, but right now in this moment, what makes you feel alive? What makes you lose track of time? Okay? Like I have fallen back in love with reading. this hobby of mine and creating this community on TikTok with Black romance books. Like, it's beautiful. And like, I want to talk more about the healing with tantric yoga, but I'm gonna bring on a guest. Like, when we get to the guest episode, that's where we really get to the meat of sexual healing and things like that. But I love reading these romance books because it gives you a level of escape to see how other characters and people, while they're not real, deal with their trauma through sex. Healthy sex, okay? Not other stuff. But we're going to walk in your purpose with confidence. And you have to give yourself permission to change directions. Your creative work can evolve. Your business can pivot. Your life path can take unexpected turns. Okay, because I keep expanding my brand. I love this notion of just like leaving this legacy so big that people just like, damn, I hate I didn't get to know Justin. You know, like, I hate I wasn't a guest on the Justin podcast, or I hate I didn't listen to it then. Like, shout out to Jesse. Jesse, listen, Jesse, you a real one, okay? Jesse will text me and say, I needed to hear this. I'm out here walking. I'm about to have church. Have church. Shout, praise him, okay? Because you've been through a lot, Jesse, and I am grateful that you are in my life. So shout out to you. There's a direct relationship between your mental health and living authentically. When you're pretending to be someone you're not, your mental health suffers. Your mental health is stuck in a state of delulu. You're delusional. It's like, who am I? You question yourself. And it's not necessarily imposter syndrome. You're just in denial about who you really want to be and living up to other people's expectations. So let's get concrete about what moving forward looks like. So you can create a simple mental health toolkit for the rest of the year. What practices actually help? Do affirmations work for you? Does journaling work for you? Does cussing people out work for you? I don't know. Maybe going for a walk before you cuss them out may work. It's a little hot, so drink some water. Are you doing your energy audit? Are you doing your stop doing list? Like, are those things you're really going to implement? Parents, your kids are watching how you handle disappointment and change. You're modeling resilience and self-compassion just by having this conversation. My couples, support each other's individual growth. Okay, if you are anxious, avoidant, if you are an anxious attachment person dating someone who is avoiding attachment, are y'all having conversations to ensure that the love is still at the root, or do y'all just have a trauma bond that y'all are just making work? Stop putting it off. We need to talk about procrastination because it's not just about time management, it's about mental health. Every time we put something off important to us, we're sending ourselves the message that our dreams don't matter. I am guilty of this. This is why I wanted to talk about it. I procrastinate so much. Now, sometimes I am great. The outcome that comes from procrastination is mind blowing. Like, I'm like, how did I create that? And I'm like, if you spent more time on it, it would have been better. But it was good. It was good. You know, pat myself on the back. But we're gonna stop that. Okay. So I, like, even with my podcast episodes, I am not gonna procrastinate on recording. I'm gonna make sure that I spend more time like delving into the episodes and also connecting with my guests, because I have so many people I want to talk to about their mental health journey. So I really can't wait until the second half of this season. What have you been putting off that's creating low-level anxiety in the background? Maybe it's a difficult conversation. So maybe you're dating someone new, but they have some tics and some non-negotiables that come up that you really want to talk about. Or is it creating a project or a boundary that you need to set? Perfect timing is a myth. I think that is also rooted in capitalism. Okay, the best time to plant a tree was 200 years ago, well, 20 years ago. But there's never a perfect time. It's just the perfect energy or the perfect mind, or just do it. You know, the second best time is now. Just do it. And then 3 small actions this week. 1 thing to start, 1 thing to stop, and 1 thing to adjust. Okay, I really hope that you've take something away from this episode. We've covered a lot today. I've shared a lot, and It's just been a great episode, and I really hope this check in is something that will fuel you to live for your future self. We're going to eliminate procrastination. We're going to rewire how we deal with imposter syndrome. And I want you to remember that your mental health journey is not about perfection. It's about showing up authentically, adjusting when you need to, and giving yourself permission to start over as many times as you need. You have everything you need within you to shine your light exactly where you are right now. Okay. So I want you to just breathe and let that breath out be you letting go of whatever is causing your light to not shine, and take one more breath in and feel your light just increase. Feel whatever it is that you are passionate about and love so much. Feel that glow on the inside, and it'll show on the outside, I promise you. Okay. Your healing journey is valid, your growth is real, and your mental health matters more than any goal you set in January. Your homework, if you choose, okay, is to pick one small adjustment from today's conversation and implement it this week. Just one small step, okay? One small step equals big changes. So thank you for prioritizing your mental health, for showing up for yourself, and in doing so, you are showing up for others. Until next time, keep adjusting. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. I hope you take something away to help you make the adjustments you need. Before you go, please take a quick second to share this with someone you care about. And if you can, please leave a 5-star rating and review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. For more information about adjusting or to inquire about being a guest, head over to adjustingpod.com. Until next time.